What you got?
Lemonade.
I think I'm more of a Pepsi man myself.
Oh,
Pepsi, are we advertising now?
What? Oh no, we're not allowed to do brands. Sorry. A cola.
You like a cola?
I like a cola.
Coca.
A
cola coca.
A cola coca. That's what it is.
Yeah, we like that one, don't we?
If I could wink, I'd be winking at the camera.
But that's beyond your capabilities as a bird. I've never seen a bird wink. Danny, have you ever seen a bird wink?
Yes. Yes, I have. I had a pigeon that was stuck in a chimney once, and we freed it. But it was like we had to get a stick to like pick it up. And as we were carrying it, pigeons are really heavy, by the way. I don't know what it is, but they're super heavy, and it had this like face of thunder. And when we got it near to the window, it went, and then went off.
Like an omen.
Like a little goodbye wink?
I don't know, I think that was like an omen.
An omen,
like
right.
I'll remember you.
Yeah, I think it was like a sign of respect.
Wow. So Danny, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome!
Yes!
Yeah,
oh,
so,
finally!
Thank you for joining us.
That's okay.
So, I don't know if you know my friend Jake. So this is Jake's first time in being my co-host today.
Hello, I'm a bit nervous.
Yeah, it's all right. Me too. Me too. I'm like, you're doing great. I just need to like peer over the beak.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
need to
occasionally.
I'll lean back.
Is a genuine challenge that we have here.
Right.
I'm sure we'll work this out, won't we, Jake?
Yeah, it'll be all right. We're going to figure it out as we go. And also, because we're not in your usual domain today, are we? We're someone else. We're somewhere else.
Yes, we are. We're at the Megaroo Hotel.
Yeah.
Which we're hugely
So
grateful.
steampunk. Yeah.
It's so
steampunk and
cool.
but we're so grateful to this place for allowing us the opportunity to use the space and to create the podcast here. So
It's
I
very
always
epic.
like to start these episodes when I'm here saying thank you to the Megaroo. Megaroo. I always pronounce it wrong.
Is it
Megaroo.
Megaroo?
Oh.
Yeah, it's just one O, isn't it? It's not like two O's.
I think it's. But I think the pronunciation is Megaroo.
Are you supposed to like roll the R? I can't roll my R's.
Megaro.
Megaro.
That
What we
sounded
need
good.
to do is, I'm quite friendly with the guy that's the architect of this place, Henry,
Right.
who designed it. I think it'd be good
Right.
to get him on the podcast soon.
I think so.
Because we've been here a few times now to talk about the building and about the design.
Yeah.
Because it is unique, isn't it, Danny? What do you think of the place?
It's gorgeous. Oh my god, the moment you walk in, there's like so much character in it, from like the ornaments on the shelf. And it's all themed, like it's got this steampunk futuristic aesthetic, but it's all linked around to comic book series, the Panamonium Chronicles.
That's right.
Panamonium. Panharmonium.
Diction today is awful.
Panharmonium.
Can you help us?
Panharmonium, that's it. Yeah.
Jake?
I think. I mean, I
Because
don't
Henry
know.
is also the creator of a comic book series as well. These chronicles
So cool.
that are based and set around this area at King's Cross.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's something
It's
for us
really
to visit in the future. So we'll pop a pin in that, won't we, Jake? And
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. But today, Danny, we've got you here, and
Hi.
I've got a
Hi.
particular topic of conversation that I want to discuss with you.
All right. The
Yeah,
eyes are on me.
It's something that we've discussed briefly outside of the podcast, me and you. And so the topic is that I want to start this with is, how do you know when you're ready to jump?
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Oh, well, I mean, like, I think it's a case of, like, it has to happen at some point. Mm-hmm. You know, like, there's definitely something inside you that says it's inevitable for you to be needing to do this. Mm-hmm. And then I guess it's just, like, powering through that initial jump. I think there's a quote from a Spider-Man film, actually.
Oh,
Go
I
on.
like that.
Yeah, I think it's from the Spider-Verse, where it's like, how will I know when I'm ready? And then Peter says, you don't. And then it's only like a little while in the film that Miles Morales like does that big leap, and he's tearing off a bit of a glass from the wall because he's still gripping onto that wall. That's why there's like shards of glass everywhere as he's falling. And then he ends up just swinging, flipping, and ends up becoming a Spider-Man eventually.
And I don't think we're ever ready, are we, to take that leap into whatever it is we're wanting to do in life. And I guess, Jake, I guess this is something that must hit home for you. There must have been a point when you were in your nest
Oh,
And
that moment, mate.
that moment where you're up in a tree and you literally
It's
have to take
terrifying.
your first flight. How did you do it?
Yeah, you're backed into a corner, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought about this before, believe it or not. And looking back, I don't know whether or not, what's that saying? It's like about naivety, that it helps you. There's definitely a saying for it, but I can't remember what it is. But like, that is, for a bird, mostly the first time you enter the world or see anything to do with the world. It's just your nest. So it's almost better that way, because it's all you know. You've been preparing your whole life to jump, and it's terrifying, but it's all you know. So there's like, that's the saying, ignorance is bliss. In that, you know, most people are scared to jump, I think, because you don't know what's going to happen, what the consequences are. But I think, if I'm being honest, I'm glad that I didn't know, because, well, I didn't know the consequences, so I couldn't be scared. Mm-hmm. Like, if I knew about all of the terrifying creatures that could have been at the bottom ready to eat me, I may still be in the nest.
Yeah, so I guess there's something in being, whilst we want to be prepared for the outside world, there's something in that we can do too much research, that we can look into things too deep and go too far into our knowledge, that actually starts putting a stop on us moving forward.
I think so. I think it puts a pressure on it, you know. And also, on the flip side, even thinking of the positives, there could be a pressure in that too. Because, you know, I think just jumping in itself is enough. Like, that's big. And that can be a big positive change in your life. But sometimes we hype ourselves up, take that big leap, and then if we don't reap the major successes that we've thought of, we think it's not worth it. But it is, you know. We've got to move, and we've got to adapt and overcome and thrive and grow. And the only way by doing that is jumping, I think.
Dude.
So as
Dude,
he is a dude, isn't he, Jake?
Yeah.
Jake, we appreciate you. You are the dude.
Oh, thanks, mate. Makes me feel good.
Yeah, it's really cool to have you here, and not, you know, I've been doing this for quite a while, haven't I? This podcast thing on my own. So it's nice to have a friend along for the journey.
Oh, you're my mate too.
So Danny, with you, the reason I wanted to talk about this with you is because I know for a long time, most of your life you've been a performer,
Right.
but you're moving into wanting to move into the professional world outside of your current comfort zone.
Yeah. I think a lot of performing I did was like mostly for fun and experience. I got to like learn a lot, like how to like socialize with people and like get along with people and be part of like incredible productions, meet amazing people, like of course you, because we met at like Lion Witch and Wardrobe. And yeah, it's come to the point now where things are falling in place. This path is like being built up toward in front of me, and it's like that seems to be the best path to go in, and that is taking this job more seriously, really, and seeing where that takes me. And I'm really excited and looking forward to that. I just don't know how to take, like, I see the path and I'm like, I don't know how to tread it.
To take that first step, how to take that jump.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, how, where, what, who, how?
Well, I guess I think we've already kind of approached some of it already with Jake. The ignorance is bliss. Then maybe you just dive straight into the industry.
Yeah.
You've got the experience there of doing shows. You're not completely ignorant to performing and being an actor, but you're just unsure of the industry, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely that.
And so
aspect.
it's like, where do you start? And I guess the first step is to start.
Yeah.
To start with something, and maybe even this is starting.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself out there in the world.
Yeah.
Aren't you? You're sharing who you are today.
Of course.
So this is a massive first leap. What would you say, Jake? Do you think showing yourself to the world is something quite big for a performer to do?
I'll be honest, mate. Like, I know, you're a lovely guy, but it's terrifying coming on a podcast because there's not much to hide behind. Like, I'm not an actor, but I've seen a few actors on your podcast, and all of them have a similar thing of saying, like, it's hard to not be able to hide behind a character. And I don't know if you feel like that.
Yeah.
But being yourself, I think for everyone in the world, it's one of the hardest lessons to learn is how to, come out into the world and say, this is me, and that's all right. And you might not like bits of me, or you might love other bits of me, but it's still me, and I'm still, valuable. But I guess, like, you saying you don't know where to start, I mean, what do I know? I'm just a bird. But I'd say start with what do you want to get out of this? Like, what makes you happy? Like, you've been performing. What parts of the industry or parts of performing do you love? And then I guess just go from there.
Yeah.
Or what parts interest you that you haven't done before that you're like, oh, I like that.
Yeah. That's definitely about right. Like, what I love about performing is the vigor you get from it, the adrenaline. Like, performing to people is like just really rewarding, and like getting the reactions back, that just feels rewarding itself. And I think that's something that I'd like to continue, and I don't feel like I'll ever get an overdose of that. And I think it's more than just like one area that you can do that in. There's so many areas of performing that you can branch that in. Like, I've done like years of like children's entertainment, and now I'm like dabbling into
Must be hard.
dabbling more into other branches of performing as well, and I'm working my way up through that.
Well, at the moment you're doing a serious play, aren't you? You're about to enter into a serious production.
Which is so exciting.
Whereas you've done so much of this children audience-led performance, haven't you? Performing to children,
yes,
in particular mini pantomimes, things like that.
Yeah.
And but this is, at the moment you're literally about to start doing a play called Closer, which is quite an adult.
Yes,
very
it
adult.
Is. Very adult.
Subject.
Not for children.
Way away from that sort of thing. It's quite the leap.
So how does that feel, moving into that kind of territory then?
Quite exciting. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it's very exciting, especially when it is like, even just a script read alone was just exciting in itself, because there's all this dialogue and you got to like dissect. I think that's the other fun thing, is dissecting the words of like why the characters are saying it. You don't get that from kids' performances so much. There could be like a theme of the undergoing theme of like what kids can learn and get out of it, but then you can only live with that so long until you gradually get older and you need new experiences and to learn from. And Closer, just reading through the script, it was just so fun to dissect and have deep discussions with the performers and the directors, producers, and just seeing how it can all formulate together. It's such an exciting cooperative synergy that's coming from this. And it gets me so excited that I'm now like using my social media app, which I never use. So I'm so excited to push and advertise that. Yeah,
like, it'd be great for an audience to come and see this and be part of this experience.
Yeah, and dislike possibly every character on stage in the process. But like, that's also the fun of it as well, that audiences can come along and just feed off that and see what they get and react from that. It's fun. I'm really excited, really excited.
It sounds like to me that you're energized by your audience. It's your audience that is propelling you forward.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing with the children's entertainment, is that it's a lot of audience interaction a lot of the time.
How do you do it, mate? Like, someone said to me that kids would love me because, I'm big and yellow and fluffy.
Yeah, you look really huggable.
Yeah, you do look huggable.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Can we give you a hug?
Yeah,
let's give you a hug.
Give a hug.
Here we go.
Oh, that feels nice. Thank you.
What conditioner do you use?
You are really soft.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. I try my
I want
best.
to get hair like that.
Yeah.
You do have hair like that.
I can...
Don't you?
I'm gonna...
Oh, that's good. Yeah, all right.
That's
We'll
right.
try that.
You could be brothers or something.
Oh.
Maybe we are.
Talking about this,
we don't know my
I think we
heritage,
all
do
could be related if I get a checkered shirt.
Yeah, we could, couldn't we? That's the only thing that we could.
You need to sell these as merch, mate. I love my check shirt. But what I was going to say is, someone said I should go into children's entertainment, but I don't think I could deal with my feathers being pulled out. You must have so much patience, like...
Oh yeah, you do have to get like a lot of patience in. Like, you still have to set boundaries of like you know, like, 'cause
What's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Exactly.
I think I've done a bit of...
also parents still remember to be parents. Come on now.
Yes,
you know?
I've done a bit of performing for children, dressing up as Iron Man and
I didn't know
Spider-Man.
that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've done a little bit in my time, and I'm past that time now.
Right.
There's no way I'm going back
Never.
to that.
Yeah.
But one of the last experiences that I had, that I was as Spider-Man, I was quite viciously attacked by a group of 4 to 5 year olds.
Oh no.
And, stamping on places that hurt me.
Oh,
And, stamping on my toes and my balls.
Oh, no.
no.
And just because they don't see you as a person, they see you as a...
It's just a mask,
You're
really.
a mask. You're that character. You're
You're a doll with
a-
limbs.
Yeah, you're a doll with limbs.
I know
that,
the feeling.
That walks and talks and breathes. And they forget that,
Thanks.
don't they, sometimes?
Yeah, I think it is. I think, oh man, I don't know. I think that's just, that's the beauty of like, okay, so masked characters, that's the thing, you have to like balance so much. So you were saying you were Spider-Man
I
at
was
one point.
Spider-Man, yes.
Okay, so
When I had a little bit of a figure better than I do. Because it's very revealing, isn't it?
it can be, yeah. It's a bit
It's a
cinched in
bit
places.
tight.
Yeah, Kelly was on the podcast, who's been doing Youth Creators Parties. I've worked under her for years, and through all that time, I've been like Spider-Man, like every weekend. I'm autistic, so there's like certain like social cues that kind of go like overhead, or like certain questions that been asked, and maybe the answer didn't come out as expected, which I appreciate your patience for that. But I will say,
mate, you're doing a pretty good job. I
Yeah,
wouldn't,
yeah.
I wouldn't quash it.
thanks, dude. But I would say that like being Spider-Man for those parties taught me a lot of like how to socialize with kids. Because let's be real here. There's a comic book of Marvel and DC where they crossed over.
Yes.
And Wonder Woman described Spider-Man as creepy. And I remember wearing a Spider-Man mask and looking in the mirror and be like, oh yeah, he's just a red face with massive white eyes. Like he looks like a red alien type thing. So understandably, kids would be overwhelmed seeing this character, maybe a bit nervous and frightened. And it was a really fun challenge to try and like find how my intonations and my voice can make me more approachable and warmer. There's all these features in our face, like eyebrows, our wrinkles, and our cheeks and lips, and all these things that make us human, and they help convey messages. Mm-hmm. And how can you translate that onto a body that doesn't have any eyebrow or facial features? Well, you've got to translate your eyebrows into your arms to try and like show excitement, and you might need to bob
like
your head.
90% of our language is body language.
Literally,
So
yeah.
when you're in that suit, you remove 90% of your communication.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then you're also like looking at the kids' body language as well. Like, is it okay to approach? Like, do I have to like soften my voice a little bit? Like, for the years of doing kids' entertainment of like any character, not just Spidey, I learn so much like social ability from that, from recognizing body language and like how to approach, communicate, how to bring in warmth to get people excited and have fun. And yeah, I've definitely like held on to that so much. It's helped me so much through everything.
That's amazing.
So take me back then to the first time you started doing children's entertainment, children's birthday parties, characters. Did you have a sense that you knew all this already?
Well, it's okay. So my mum used to own the party company, and there was one day
Family.
when she went to my family and went, Kelly, can you do this booking for me? And she said, no, I'm busy, I'm out. And she left. And then she approached Addie, who was on the podcast Exile Club. Approached Addie and went, Addie, can you do this booking for me?
Oh, so you're all siblings?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
So you're the
Performing
third member of
family.
the family that's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Tight knit. So then I asked Addie, and she said no and left. And my mum went round and was like, I need someone to do this party booking for me. And I was playing on a Nintendo Wii. I was playing Ben 10 Protector Earth. That's my Ben 10 impression. And she went, Danny, do you want to get more video games? And like my young self went, uh-huh. And the first booking I got put into was Hello Kitty.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah. It was Hello Kitty. It was a great big mascot, like pink dress, massive bulbous head, and I had to learn to like flare my hands and giggle, play Bibbo to anyone that was nervous. It was fun.
That's such
And
a
did you
niche
find
job.
yourself naturally understanding how to play the role?
I mean, I think it was at that point when my mum was teaching me all these actions of like how to be a female mascot. That I was able to like catch on to those actions pretty quickly. And then I think it was like a few months later that my mum then asked me to do Spider-Man booking, and she said, okay, kids will be nervous of the mask. Make sure you get down to their level. Which is easy to do because Spider-Man is always like crawly and doing all that. And yeah, I was just doing that for a whole like 2 hours, being all excited.
I think I'd pull a wing. I think I'd pull a wing. 2 hours.
I mean, yeah, and the mask as well. I'm asthmatic too, so that's also tested by breathing.
So that's
as well.
like really set you up for performing jobs then, because you'd have to be in character and like, is it improv? Is that what it's called? Like improv.
So
for
like
people for ages.
So the moment you put on a costume and you'll go out and like, I guess if we're saying that like a party venue, a hall is a stage, it's like the moment you put on a costume and you step out and kids are like coming in, you're straight into character. The world becomes a stage.
Right.
And of course, Martin, in performing, you can't corpse or break character.
What's corpsing again?
Corpsing is when you kill the character on stage.
Yeah, I guess so. So when you
right.
have a moment where you're like, you become you again.
Right.
So
Got ya.
you have to commit to being this other person for that time.
Gotcha.
You have to really learn to live and be not just that character, but be in the moment, don't you, Danny?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't start thinking about the outside world. You can't start taking those thoughts of what are people going to think as me, as Martin, or as Danny.
No.
Can you? You have to be.
You have to also be on it.
space.
Also, like, make sure you know what you're going to say when like a kid asks a question or something like that. You don't want to like be on autopilot and end up saying the wrong thing and it ends up offending a bunch of people.
So you still have to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still got to like think on the ball of things. Like, I think everything being a stage and like people asking questions, there's nothing wrong with taking a breath to like think of an answer. Because I think, as you can imagine, kids and parties, they can be a bit chaotic and everything happening all at once. And I think there's nothing wrong in figure out a way of like taking a breath to breathe.
Mm-hmm. I think there's so much power in the pause.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
Do you get anything from that, Jake? Have you ever found any power in the pause?
I'm so glad you asked me, because I was just sat here watching and listening to you both. And when people say all the world's a stage, it hits true, because what you were just saying is just life advice. So you were saying about you can plan and you can think, and you've got a plan for those moments where the kids ask you things, but ultimately you've got to be in the moment, and you've just got to, if you doubt it, you just got to take a breath, sit with it for a minute, and then take that leap. You know, and trust that you've done the prep beforehand, and now you can just live in the moment. And so it was funny, as you were both chatting, I was like, this is just life advice, isn't it? It's fear advice, but it's just life advice, isn't it? So going back to like you just starting, if you don't mind me.
Yeah, I think just all that life advice. I think I'm now taking on that performing advice as life advice, and now taking the next step.
Because it sounds like you've got everything. Like you saying you don't know how to plan or how to start. Right, I don't know much about this industry. I'm learning.
Very good.
Oh, thanks. I'm picking up all the new terms like corpsing and stuff. But like, what's the normal? If I could do quotation marks, I would. Normal, quote unquote.
We'll do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll do it. 1, 2, 3.
Normal way of getting into this industry. Like, what's the normal way? Because it doesn't sound like you're going to do the normal way, and I don't think you should. But
I've done a lot of. I love reading biographies of famous actors and performers, and not once have I come across a performer or an actor or anyone that's made any difference in this world at all. Come to think of it, that has done things the normal way.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is a normal
Thanks.
way. I think we all have our own path and we all have our own discoveries to make. I think there are some tick boxes you can do to help you move forward.
Right.
But I also think there is a danger in that you can get lost in the crowd
Okay.
Yeah.
by doing these tick boxes.
Yeah.
So, for instance, there's a thing called Spotlight in the UK,
Yes.
Right.
or there's a website called IMDb.
Yeah, I know.
That's
IMDb. I
a
use that for a lot of research.
And that's a bigger one in the United States. But these
Right.
are online spaces that are directories for performers to be on, so you can be found.
Got ya.
Right.
And
Like a LinkedIn.
like a LinkedIn,
Gotcha.
but for performers.
Right.
And it gives you kind of a mark as a professional if you're on one of these platforms.
Okay.
Right.
And the agents that seek work for you will want you to be on one or the other, if not both,
Right.
before they will represent you
I see.
and look for work for you. So I guess if you're looking for work as a performer, you need an agent.
Okay.
And to get an agent, you need Spotlight. And some people would disagree with this current system that we have. I'm not one that likes it.
Right.
I think there's a few issues here. But as someone with our industry links starting out, I think that is a very good first step, is to get yourself on those platforms.
Okay.
Have you got any way to get on those platforms?
I think in college we got told to like start up a Spotlight, and then I don't know. I think there was some system that like fell through.
So with
However-
Spotlight, there is a requirement to be on there. You need a professional credit.
Okay, I got a
be
few of
on
those.
there.
Well, you have that, don't
Yeah,
you?
I got those.
You've got
Okay.
professional
Yeah, yeah.
credits. You've
Thanks
worked
to
for
you.
me. You've worked for me.
I work for
with
you.
my
You're a
theatre
professional guy.
company. Yeah, you
Yeah.
work for me. So you
Wait.
can add those credits to Spotlight and you apply to them, and there is a yearly fee to be part of Spotlight.
Right.
And that's the bit that I have a bit of trouble with personally,
Okay.
and I think a lot of
Right.
actors struggle with.
Right.
That as someone that's starting out in any profession, is it fair that you need to pay a fee to be classed as a professional?
Yeah. Also, you saying you need a professional credit, but then didn't you just say you need a Spotlight to get a professional credit? Did I hear that
Yes,
right?
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Okay.
So this is
right. Okay. I'm up
Okay.
to speed.
This is
It's rigged.
The system is rigged. It
Okay.
is a
This is-
complete
Right. Got you.
chicken and the egg kind of situation that we've got going on.
Right. Got
Right.
ya.
Is that yes, in the industry, to get on Spotlight and be seen as a professional, you need a professional credit to get on there.
So it sounds
Okay.
But
like
you can't get the professional credit without it. So,
Gotcha.
so what do you do first? So, if I go back to myself when I was starting out as an actor, because I wanted to be a professional actor,
Right.
when I was at college and left college, and that's what I wanted to do. I applied to Spotlight and was rejected because I didn't have that credit. So
Right.
I did a few independent films that I found through other things that I don't think are no longer available. There used to be The Stage magazine,
Right.
came out once a month.
I've heard of Backstage.
Yeah, no, The Stage. It used to be a huge newspaper. It came out monthly or 4 weekly.
Okay.
And it used to have auditions in there that anyone could apply for.
That's great.
And there was a lot of independent films and a lot of independent theatre was in there. But then the internet came along and changed things. And I think there is still a Stage, but I don't think it does the same thing that it used to.
Right.
But that's how I got my first credits to then be able to get
Okay.
on these platforms.
Okay. All right.
But you have professional credits. You've done professional theatre,
Right.
haven't you?
Yeah.
So you'll have no problem in getting on Spotlight.
Okay. Good.
And then the next step, once you're on Spotlight, you can then start to look for agents.
Okay then. And what am I looking for in an agent then? Like, is there
Good question.
an agent that's, I don't know, is there agents for like specific categories of the industry
so.
or
Yes, there is, yeah.
yeah,
So we've got just general performing agents. We've got acting agents.
I'm guessing
we've got
film and stage.
Yeah,
They're separate.
stage, commercial agents that will only look for work for commercials.
Okay.
Like adverts.
Like yes,
Right, got you.
advertising. So there are lots of different types of agents. So I guess there is a bit of you
I
that
could
needs
do
to-
advertising.
You would be great at advertising.
I could do that. I reckon.
You could.
Do you know what? Because I don't think I'd be good for the stage, but No, I could sell some yogurt or something like that.
You could be a face of a company.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of like, I'm hoping that I'm kind of the face of your company.
You kind of are, Jake.
You know,
Yeah.
you've got a yellow bird. I'm a yellow bird.
It kind of ties together neatly.
It kind of ties. But yeah, I could sell merch or something like that. I
guess you could.
Yeah.
You could help promote brands outside of an agent.
Ooh.
You could do that yourself. You
That'd
don't
be cool.
have to go to an agent to do that. You
That'd be
could
cool.
approach companies and offer your services for commercials without the need for an agent.
That'd be cool. I could do that.
Yeah, I don't think agents would like me saying that because you know they want the
Yeah.
they want the commission.
No,
Of
I
course.
get that, and you know everyone's got to make money, and that's fine. And but yeah, that's a cool idea.
But within all these things, actually, within all the different fields of the industry, you could seek the work yourself. You don't have to have an agent.
Right.
It is not the be-all and end-all of getting work.
Okay.
For instance, someone that's huge in the industry has famously never had an agent, which is Bill Murray.
No way.
Bill Murray.
No way.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
He does
Bill Murray.
seem like someone who just wouldn't give a damn and just
major
walk
Hollywood-
in and be like, "Give me the role."
This
I
is
can imagine
kind of
that.
this is like a one of those kind of stories in Hollywood that he doesn't have an agent.
Right.
He has an answer phone. So if you would like Bill Murray to work for you, you phone up this telephone number and you leave a message on his answer phone. And if he is interested in the work, he will call you back.
Wow, the power
That's
play
a
in that.
flex.
There is.
That's a flex, yeah.
So, you know, what's stopping you, Danny, from setting up an answer phone and,
I'll
and
just-
seeing if anyone wants
I'll just give my number and just leave my phone there and be like, "Yeah, this is it. This is it. That will happen."
But I guess
as it collects dust.
with a power move like that, you need a level of power,
Of course.
or authority within the industry already. If you're starting out,
It's a bit like writing
Yeah.
your number on the bathroom wall, isn't it? Like, I didn't want to say it, but that's what came to mind when you said about leaving your number.
you just don't know.
Might be
who
a bit
you're gonna
dodge.
get, do you?
I mean, I guess near similar to that is like who you know as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm friends with a bunch of other actors. That was
Yeah,
like,
if you've got a good reputation, I mean, I don't know, but I reckon that gives you a good standing, doesn't it?
yeah,
Oh,
like
definitely.
a mate being like working with a director and a director being like, "Oh, I need someone suited for this," and a mate of mine will say, "Oh, there's this guy." I imagine like that's so far has been working pretty well
Yeah,
for
and
me.
that's why I work with both of you. Why I said to Jake, I was like, Jake, I want you to be a host on my podcast because I know you well.
Yeah.
You know, there's no kind of. I didn't just see your photo on an online directory.
Nah.
I didn't just look at the things that you've done in the past. I know you as a person.
As a
I know you
friend.
as a friend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can trust Jake. And that's why I hire
Me-
you, Danny, for my theatre shows.
Yeah.
Because I can trust you.
Yeah,
Not necessarily because you've got all the credits, because you've worked with others, because you've got the best headshots. I trust you, Danny. So therefore, I employ you.
thanks.
Aw,
Yeah, I like you, Danny.
that was nice.
Thank you.
I like you, Jake. So I employ you.
We like
I like you too. I like you too, Mike.
That's nice. But that's I think a more powerful way of doing business with each other and working with each other is through friendship
Right.
than through just simply searching people in a directory.
And
Alright.
I guess how reliable you are, because if you're working with someone, yeah, you want them to be good at their job, but you want them to be easy to work with as well, to an extent, don't you?
Of
course.
So I guess like that works on a more intimate, close circle level. But if you want to spread further afield, then that's when you need to have things like spotlight and bigger connections and
Yes, we need
start
to-
taking those
Yeah.
leaps.
Yes, we need like
Let's come to that now.
branching out of the comfort zones
Yeah.
and the current circles that we're in. That's the kind of the hard bit. But I do think there's kind of perhaps a lesson that we can take in that friendship thing and building other relationships.
Definitely.
Is being more powerful than the directory. So the directory listing for you needs to be there. But you need to be doing something outside of that. And that's the tricky bit. That's the bit you'll find on your own. I think that's the bit that comes without advice and guidance.
All right.
That comes down to you.
Okay then. Cool. Cool.
Have you any idea what you could do? Like, let's just think out the box. As a performer.
No pressure.
No pressure. Out the box. what could Danny do other than spotlight, other than being on backstage? What could you do to seek work as a performer outside of your service?
Okay.
Don't people just put stuff like on YouTube and things?
Okay, I was
Like
just about
that?
to say social media. So I'm not a good I'm an anti-social media person.
And that's
So
very refreshing.
Yes.
I guess. But like after being in closer and just like having that script read through, I'm like, I felt so inspired that I wanted to make a post.
You want to share.
I wanted to share about it because I really want to like push that out of it, and I don't think I've ever pushed something out so much. I need to do another post of it later after this. And I think that's something I need to be more frequent on, is showing off on a page about me, really. I think that's another thing that people use. Like some people have like a private account and some people have like a performer's account, and their performer's account doesn't have a privacy setting on it. It's there
Just
purely
open.
for the advertisements, using themselves as a what's the term? Like
Marketing yourself.
that's it. Treating yourself as a brand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And there's something very important within that, because when I've looked to employ people and I've received their CVs or their spotlight link, I've often gone on Instagram to have a look at what kind of person they are. What kind of things are they up to?
Yeah.
Do I want someone that is clearly spending every night of the week partying, being involved with my show where I know that they need to be reliable?
That's true.
You know, so what they put on social media, also their political views as well.
Yeah.
If some people are very political on social media, and I've had that in productions, that's become a bit of a problem when we want to get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I tend to, if they're overly political on social media, that can be something that can be avoided by a lot of employers.
Bit of a turn off.
I guess also just like keeping it separate from the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, knowing kind of what kind of vibe they give off. Because I'm the opposite, right? Like I've just got into Instagram. Like I've got an Instagram account now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay, okay.
I don't know much about
I
it.
feel like we're both on the same boat then.
Probably. But
Okay.
like, so I am trying to find the fun in Instagram and showing off me as a person, whereas you, it sounds like you would benefit from, rather than having a personal account, having a work account where it's like showcasing you as an actor and what you can do. Because if you're against social media, which is fine, I think like you said, it's refreshing, you can still keep yourself off of it and keep that private, but then, you know,
Show some of the work you've done.
show
Show your
off
work.
and be
That
proud
sounds
of
pretty
it.
safe. Yeah, show my work.
Yeah.
I have to like research through and get all the DVDs out.
And that's kind of how I use social media as well, is to show my workings.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if you want to see my full work, you'll watch the full podcast. But if you want to
Right.
see just a little snippet,
Yeah.
you can look on the social media.
Right.
You can see a little taste of what it's like in there.
Okay. All right. So here's a question I want to get round to,
Come on.
because
Go for
I feel
it.
like this is this might be the biggest issue I have, and that is your name. Performing names.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Lady Gaga. You know, I want a name like that. No, I'm kidding. No, so some people have like their regular names, you know, the birth names that they're born with, and then some people have like a performer's name. So they can be recognized all the way around. I really like my name,
It's a
Danny
great
Middleton.
Cool name.
I like it. Yeah, it's got a bit of fun, bit of a quirkiness to it. It describes me very well. However, I don't think I would be hired because of my name, because it's so similar to someone else's name. Do you know a Dan Middleton? The Dan Middleton?
I do, yes, another actor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I wasn't
sorry,
talking about an
is it-
actor.
Okay.
No, not an actor. The
Okay.
Diamond Minecart.
Oh, like a Minecraft thing.
Yeah, there's a Minecraft YouTuber called Dan Middleton. He is
Okay.
possibly the most famous Dan Middleton out there. And I feel like I would not be hired for a role because people would be linking too hard to that.
I think at the level that you're at, of starting out as a performer,
Okay.
and this might sound harsh, Danny,
All right.
nobody cares.
Okay.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares until you're going to be associated to a brand. And at that point, or when I say a brand, that could be a movie or that could be a theatre production that your name's in lights. But at that point that you're breaking into that, you'll have a PR team.
Okay.
You'll have people that would advise you on whether something needs to be changed there.
All right.
Or whether you've created a strong enough Danny Middleton
That you've surpassed
that
the
you've
other.
surpassed the other.
That would be the dream.
So this is like one of those questions that kind of doesn't need to be worried about at this level.
Okay.
That's
for future Danny to figure out.
A future Danny.
A future Lady Gaga to figure out.
Exactly.
Future gentleman Dan.
At that point, you'll either you'll have one or two things. You'll have a PR team that will figure that out for you, or you'll surpass them. That you'll be the only Danny Middleton.
Okay.
It'll be one of the two.
Because it is a great name.
Mm-hmm.
And also, did you say he goes by Dan?
He goes by Dan, yeah.
Yeah, right. Danny, in my opinion, is a great...
It's great. It sounds friendly.
Sounds like Danny Zuko.
Yeah, there's reminiscence of that. It reminds you of things.
Yeah.
Also, it just sounds fun.
And your
Hot and fun.
Your name's not going to be on the front of a movie poster at this stage.
No.
Your name, your name.
Oh, definitely for like programs and posters of like stage and.
But within that, there is something of being. And I'm going to be completely honest about myself here because I did it.
Right.
Yeah.
I changed my name for a while.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you?
Was it like Galactus or something? It was like.
No. So I'm Martin Colton. That's
Yeah.
my name. But my name is also Martin Alexander. That's my middle name, Colton.
Of course.
So I changed it to Martin Alexander, thinking, that sounds a little bit.
That sounds regal.
You know,
Sounds
that
sophisticated.
cool. But then I got to the point where I was like, how do I introduce myself? And who do I... Because there's my circles that I'm working with that already know me as Martin Colton.
Right.
And then it's very rare that I'm stepping outside of those circles to introduce myself as Martin Alexander. Right. And then there was crossovers happening where people were talking about me as Martin Colton and people talking about me as Martin Alexander.
Right.
So it was like I was all of a sudden becoming two different people.
Right. And I can imagine like the lack of communication being like, wait, that's the Martin I know. And you're
like, yeah.
And you're like, no, the other Martin. Like,
so
no, that's the same Martin.
By doing that, it was causing me a hindrance.
Okay.
Yeah, it was keeping me back by calling myself Mark, by giving myself this new name.
That's actually quite reassuring to know.
Like a separate divide.
So I would strongly advise you, you're known as Danny Middleton.
Right.
I would strongly advise you to stick with that and be proud of it.
Stick with it.
And you said you like it. It's not like you don't like your name.
Oh, yeah, I like the character in itself of, like, my name, like, how it says about me. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to, like, think of, like, names to, like, still keep that energy. Like, I was, like, including my middle name. Like, I'll call myself Danny Jack.
Oh, is Jack your middle name?
Yeah.
Cool.
Or, like, getting my stepdad's last name in and calling myself Danny Mevans, but, like, Mevans sounds like literal two names put together.
I know a couple of actors that do this. And within the kind of beginning, starting out level, it is quite, I'm going to be harsh here, it's pretentious. I don't know myself. Okay. It's pretentious.
All right.
Level, if I'm being completely honest.
Okay, I agree with that.
I've also got friends that they've changed their name just in general in life.
Right.
And that's quite nice. Like, we've got your partner, Luna.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, lovely gal.
I've only ever known her as Luna. And most people only know her as Luna. So she's changed her name in a way that her life evolves around that name change. Mm-hmm. So that I'm not calling that pretentious. I want to make that clear. No. In case Luna is Luna.
Also, like the last name's the same, and like you can also nickname her to just Lou, and it still gets away with that.
So she's changed. She's changed the whole package. What would you say to that, Jake? Would you kind of agree with what I'm kind of getting at here?
Yeah. I think like it's the motivation behind it, innit? Like if you're doing it to try and be like, I don't know, like you said, pretentious. If you're doing it to be like, I am Lady Gaga.
I am Martin Alexander.
Yeah, to be fair, that name sounds regal to me. Martin Alexander sounds regal.
I thought so too. But the industry doesn't care.
Yeah. No,
People outside of your circles don't care.
I think what I hear from you is do it for you or don't do it at all. So like the people
Love
that you
that.
know that have done it for them because it makes them feel good, you can see that it, you know, has an effect. And I'm sure for like Lady Gaga, you can see that it fits her perfectly and you know, it embodies who she is. Whereas if you're just doing it to seem cooler or to, I don't know, live up to what you think others want, then you're just going to be unhappy with it, aren't you? It's just not going to not feel right.
That.
I think there's something also there's a difference between singers and actors. In the singers create a different kind of persona.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know Lady Gaga's real name. What she's
I
known to
did,
by her
but I
friends
can't
and
remember
family.
it.
Not from the top of my head, no.
Lady Gaga is definitely
I think it's
brand.
Stephanie.
It's definitely a brand, though, isn't it, Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's a character in
It's a-
itself.
it's a character.
It's a character she created that she... Yeah, it's more of a vessel that she uses to share creation.
Yes.
And I guess most
And
actors...
and do you do that as an actor? No, you...
I guess actors are more of a translator from
Yes,
translating
you-
text to embodiment.
And every time you're a different part, you're doing that.
Yeah.
When you play Romeo in Romeo and Juliet, you're playing Romeo. So you
Right.
change your name
Right.
there. When you jump in to be James Bond,
Yeah,
you're
that's
James
true.
Bond. That's when you change your name, when you're in those characters.
Yeah, that's
But for
true.
Lady Gaga, she is that character every time she performs. Therefore, it fits to change that name.
Yeah, I'd never thought
Yeah.
about it like that, but that makes perfect sense. But yeah, if you like your name, which you do,
I do.
and it's a great sounding name,
I do.
so I think, you know, there's no reason to change that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Great. All right. My name is Danny Middleton.
Yeah.
Yay.
Welcome to the world, Dan.
Yeah. Great. Okay. I'm glad I got that out of the way because that was a
Here we
big
go. So
insecurity.
We're just taking the leaps one bit at a time here, aren't we? we're figuring out the name. We're out there in the world.
Whittling it down.
And so, what next then? What next?
What's
Because
next?
my question actually was before the name thing was, what could you do outside of the box to look for roles that aren't the same as everyone else, that isn't just about being on Spotlight and having an agent?
Is there like forums? Is there like local theatre? Local
I think you
theatre.
need to go bigger.
Bigger?
Don't think local theatre,
Don't think local.
because that's what you're
Fly
doing.
to
innit?
another country.
I mean, what you're doing is local theatre in it, and there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. You're thriving on it.
It's doing great. Yeah.
If you
What
want to
about
take a
what about Fringe Theatre? London Fringe Theatre.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about that really. I guess I'll need to do research
So
in that.
London Fringe Theatre, so out just on the outskirts of the West End.
Okay.
There is a lot of theatre that's happening that isn't with huge celebrities or A-list stars. It's with up-and-coming performers.
Right.
And it's happening, yeah. There's lots of theatres, even places like here at King's Cross, where there is opportunity for small productions that are happening.
Right.
And you'll find those generally by going directly to the theatre and finding out what companies come in.
Okay.
But that can open up doors into widening your circles.
Oh, I
Okay.
guess like going to see those shows as well and just
Brilliant.
being there, being in the
Yes.
room, buying a programme,
Yeah.
supporting it, and then seeing what companies you enjoy, and then using the programme to see if you can follow the actors that are part of it or
Yeah.
see what they're doing or
And
what
what
they're up
production
to.
company put the show
Yeah,
on.
exactly,
Okay.
and seeing what contacts they have and if
Yeah.
they've got anything else coming up.
I love that advice, Jake. Just
Yeah.
being in the arena, just being
being there.
in the space can be a big thing.
Absolutely, because also then, I mean, I'm of the opinion that then you can't lose because either way, you've gone to see a piece of art. So then you'll take something from that, even if it's not professional work that you take from it. You'll have grown as a person and seen maybe what you don't want to do, or what you'll find something you go, oh, I've never thought about doing this style before, and now I've seen it, I love it, and I want to look into that, or
Yeah.
go into different areas and new places. I just think, you know, it makes us better people, doesn't it?
Go out and pursue
Just be in the world.
inspiration. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, get out more, basically. That's what I learned from that.
Spread your wings.
Get out there, spread your wings. Yeah, I love that.
So at this
Okay,
point, Danny, I'd like to jump in a bit of a time machine, actually.
Oh, all right.
I'd like to go back to that young person that was playing their computer games before you was considering performing.
Right.
And let's say we had like a little Back to the Future moment.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where
I love that movie.
instead of your mum walking into the room to encourage you to get out there and do some performing, what if you paused your mum and you said, have a cup of... What's your mum's name?
Liz?
Liz, sit down.
I don't know why I said that like a
Liz,
question.
sit.
I think her name is...
Maybe.
I just always known her as Mum.
I'm being really hypothetical.
Yeah, of course.
I'm
Okay,
making up
so
this story as I
Liz
go
walks
along.
in and then...
Liz walks in and she's gone to your two sisters and they've said, no, I don't want to do this. And just before she comes to you, you go, oh, Liz, hold on a second. You sit down and have a cup of tea. I'd like to talk to Danny. Okay? So you go up.
Meta.
You go up, you knock on the door. Danny's playing his Ben 10 on the Wii.
On the Wii.
And you sit down next to him. What advice would you give to him to move him forward?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
What would happen next, Danny? It doesn't even have to be advice. What would happen next?
I mean, he'd probably scream, wouldn't he? If he...
I don't know.
Random man.
He would just be like, who are you? I don't think he'd be scared, really. He'll just be like, yeah, all right. Man, that's a good question. I hate it.
Okay, think.
Okay. I guess I would probably say to him, like, you have so much energy that you want to release and use, and you're aware that you're only partially getting it out of this game. Because I think there's a great big ball of energy in all of us that like needs to like punch out or pound out, and it just needs to, you need to find that like little sweet release, really.
You need to
channel it. Channel that energy that just wants to punch out. Ben 10 isn't going to help you right now. Like, if you want a break, then go for it. But yeah, because I think it was literally like a year after that anyway that I suddenly went, I'm bored of my Xbox. I'm going to go to my sister's dance school.
Oh.
I think it was literally like a year later that I was just like, I want to do something active.
This isn't giving you fulfillment in life.
Yeah. And even right now, that's...
Channel that energy.
Channel it.
So I wonder if there's something we can take forward into this leap that you're going to make now.
Okay.
Is there something?
Is there an older person, older version of me that's going to come in and be like, "Hey, Danny,
let's carry on this.
Martin is this old version.
This story, right? So in this story.
Think about it, Danny. You're talking to a bird."
So what happens now is Jake also comes into the room with the younger Danny.
Wow.
It's like, both of you, we need to go back to the future.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny's at a crossroad. Future Danny's at a crossroad. So now, younger Danny, get in the time machine with me. What do you say to younger Danny to convince him to come back to the future, Jake?
Oh, I'd be like, you have so... Brilliant.
God.
Brilliant.
Well, it wouldn't take much, honestly. He's a dumb kid.
How old is he at this point?
Oh my God.
Ben 10?
Playing Ben 10? Oh, probably 13.
13.
Brilliant.
He's 13-year-old.
Poor little autistic kid. It doesn't take much.
Jake convinced this 13-year-old to come back to the future to help save older Danny.
I'd be like, mate, you are a kid. And you have so much energy and so much potential, you don't even realise it. And adult Danny needs you. Most adults need kids, to be fair. Like, going back to even what I said earlier, that I don't think I could do kids' parties. But regardless, we need to harness our inner child, because it's their energy and their passion that drives us to take the leaps. As adults, we overthink things, don't we?
Oh, too much.
Like, we fall off the swings once and we go, oh, I'm not doing that again. Whereas as a kid, if you fall off, you get back on the next day. And I think we need to go inside ourselves, or Back to the Future if you've got a time machine, and find that inner child that we've got and use their energy and remind ourselves what it's like to have that amount of energy and that amount of passion and that fearlessness to just take a deep breath and leap. Oh, sorry, this is a slight segue. I got given a great piece of advice. I can't remember if I spoke to you about it, Martin, on the podcast or not.
I've not heard it.
Just 5 seconds of courage is all you need. If you're doing something big in your life, or you're about to take a leap and you're standing on the edge of that cliff and you don't quite know how to jump into the water, all you need is 5 seconds of pure courage. Now, we can all do that, right? Like, if we're looking at something big, we try and be brave for the whole thing. That's a mug's game. We don't have, that's fear creeps in and doubt creeps in. But in the moment, you just take a breath and you've only got to be brave for 5 seconds. And you do it in those 5 seconds. And it will change your life. And I think that kids have more of that than we do. So that's what I'd say to your 13-year-old self. I'd say, older Danny needs you right now, because you've got so much energy and passion and potential, and so has he, but he just needs that little push to be like, just do it. Just as you said on that day, your mum said, do you want some more video games? And you went, yeah, why not? I'll be a giant cat. Because as kids, we don't care as much. And I think sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves for something to go right, when the reality is we can just do it and just see what happens.
Love that, Jake.
That was pretty
So
that was
Danny's
pretty
now
sick.
in the future.
Okay.
Younger Danny is now with older Danny.
Whoa.
What does younger Danny say to you?
Why is there a bird?
Why isn't there a bird?
He'd be quiet. I think he would be more in shock and awe of everything. I'd be like, oh yeah, we're now here. We're doing this now.
What would he think about the performing work that you do?
Oh,
Would he be excited by that? Would he?
so
would
this
he
is
read it out?
this is back with this is before the Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
All right. I think he'd be pulling a face at it, or he'd be like, no, this isn't for me. And I'm like, no, bro, it is. It's the life.
That's growth.
It's, yeah. I was like, no, this is the way to go. He's like, really? Yeah.
Why?
Because it's just so much adventure. It's so much fresh air around so many places. There's so much playing dress up all the time. He would have loved that. He used to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle at one point. He would, we enjoy putting on costumes and feeling the weight and seeing how it controls your body and all that. Why? And you get to do that as a living. I don't know.
You get to do that for money now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not all about the money.
Others get enjoyment from it too, which
that's probably the more
returns
exciting
back
part.
into the fuel that you need, Danny.
Yeah. Did you get that, little guy? And he's just pulling a face. I can imagine that. Just give him a week. Maybe this did happen, and then it was just a week later where he ended up going to a dance school.
You just needed to think about it.
Yeah. He's a slow processor.
Okay.
But I love that idea that you bring into this, Jake, about how we need our younger selves and to learn some lessons from the past, from when we were young, and bring that younger self into our future to help us make those decisions, to move forward, to take the leap.
I'd find it harder now to jump out of the nest. I'd do it all again. Mm-hmm. But I think if I was in the nest now, knowing all the scary things in life, it'd take me longer to jump. And so I think, we need to harness, and also just, we get caught up in adult things like earning money, and will this earn money, and will it go somewhere, or will it be responsible enough? Is it mature enough? Is it sensible enough? But as a kid, you don't think about that. You just think about the experience. And I think sometimes it's good to have the balance, but we also need to just take that leap and see what happens.
Wonderful.
Just 5 seconds.
Just
of
5
courage.
seconds of courage.
5 seconds of courage. Well, this has been a wonderful discovery today, guys.
Yeah, this is
really
great.
appreciate sharing, Danny.
I've loved that.
And thank you. This is the first time we've had Jake as the co-host.
I'm so excited.
So thank you for being my co-host today, Jake.
I loved
appreciate
it.
you as well. And I guess if anyone has been watching or listening, we appreciate you for joining us for this conversation. Thanks again, guys.
Yeah,
Well done,
thank
mate.
you.
You did
Lovely.
it.
Thank
We did
you.
it.
Hope to come back again soon.
You know what we didn't do?
A what?
Because this was the first time Jake was on the podcast. We just dove straight into that conversation.
It was. I didn't even realise we started. It was only when I got asked. I was just like...
We just got overexcited for a moment.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We didn't do the traditional clap.
The clap.
Yeah, so this sort of time we'll clap ourselves out. So we go 3, 2, 1.
No, you just do.
It's
to sync up the audio
I thought you was a fan of the podcast. I thought you knew this. Your sister knew this when she was on.
She did.
She did. She was very excited.
Rewind. Cut it out.
Here we go.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. There we go. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you.
Well
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, mate. See you later.
Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.